Lemon Amiga presents a Playthru video review. Sit back and enjoy the show.
Hi, welcome to another Lemon Amiga gameplay review. This time we'll be taking a look at the 1992 game Locomotion, designed by Prestige and released through Kingsoft. And this game is a fiendishly difficult puzzle game, split over 12 sections, each containing 9 levels. So let's take a look at level 1 on the A section. So as you can see, Locomotion is a top-down strategy game where the player has to guide a number of trains from their start point to their destination. This is my first train, and the B indicates the destination, which is station B, which is the exact same station I've just set off from. So the aim is to guide this train all the way back to the start by switching the points all the way back to the same place, and if you hold down the right mouse button you'll activate turbo mode, which speeds up the trains another 200%, and as you can see, the screen will soon fill with trains all going to different destinations, and it's the player's job to line up all the points and get those back to where they should be. You can see in the black box there that the green indicates I've only 2 trains remaining. So the game starts off very easy on this first stage. So all I need to do is get the A train back to A and C back to C. So how do I swap those guys around? Well, I can let the C go up there and the A will hit the buffers in the C station and go back to A again. So all I have to do is switch the C train to go to the C station, and there you go, level complete. At the end of each level, the player is awarded points for their time taken, and it's on to level 2. So the yellow indicator indicates we have 270 seconds to complete this level, and 10 trains to collect. So as you can see, the time limits are getting particularly tight now, and the time will also speed up double if you hold down the right mouse button. And as we continue through the game, you will notice the level design gets even more fiendish, and many trains will appear on the screen at once to make this game very, very tricky indeed. In fact, by the 4th level of the first section, the average player will probably be struggling due to this. But I remember reading in the Amiga Power review, they define this game as being granny friendly, which basically means it appeals to all the family, and it isn't particularly hard at all, as long as you work out a little strategy beforehand to play the trains through to their destination. If you are unfortunate enough to have 2 trains collide on the track, the blue 10 in the black box will decrease. You're allowed 10 crashes on this stage, up to 10 crashes on this stage, and you might notice whenever the tracks run out, or if the points aren't set, the train will wait patiently at those points for the player to change those for the train to continue on its way, and this can be a very handy tip. You might notice there the D train I threw into the A platform to bounce back to go into the D, and the A platform revealed another train directly afterwards. Some reviewers say this is a bug in the game, but to my mind, if the A is flashing like this, then that gives away the fact that there is a train coming, so the player shouldn't throw a train into that platform until the train has departed. So let's get rid of the D train and put the A one in there. On to level 3. I'll show you the first 4 levels on the easy stage, and another taxing development. So the game was coded mainly by Andre Wuthrich, who went on to code Enemy Tempest of Violence in 1997, another tremendously good platform game, and in 98 he went on to code Mad Lokes for the Amiga, which is a very similar game to this. In fact, you could argue that Mad Lokes is an updated version to Locomotion, and that game also features updated graphics. But the graphics in Locomotion are reasonably well drawn, considering their small scale, and as we shall see later on, the environments will change. There are a number of environments in this game. We start off in these green fields, and we'll move on to ice levels, forest levels, space levels, technology levels, as we shall see a little later on when we go through the rest. So just looking at this level, we now have 2 trains heading to the A platform, and a train has now appeared in the A platform ready to depart. So let's get rid of that and then put these 2 in there, and in fact we now have 4 trains on this screen all heading towards the A platform. So let's get those all lined up and on the way, and put the D one in the D there as that one's passing, set the A one off, and away we go, just like that. You may notice the sound effects in this game are pretty minimal, but what there has been included is probably just enough to flesh out the game. The only music really to appear in this game appears over the title sequence, a rather jolly number programmed by Harold Kuhn, and the interesting fact about Harold is he went on to found Scipio software, who coded Yo Joe on the Amiga. That's the only title Scipio managed to produce, and Harold also did the music for Hagar the Horrible as well on the Amiga. So we're more or less coming to the end of this level now. Scores racking up, and this is the last level I will show you on the easy level. We're not going to complete this game, but that's what it looks like. So let's get back to the title sequence and choose the B set of stages. As I said, there are 9 levels in each stage, and we see our first change of scenery, the desert scenery there, and at first glance this level is deceptively easy, but on second glance this level is deceptively hard, seeing as there aren't as many tracks available, and there are only 2 stations. When you get 3 or 4 trains on the screen at the same time, these easy levels really do get hard. So I'm juggling trains in the air there, and I've still got 12 trains on this level to get to their destination, so it becomes very, very tricky, and only one train can successfully ride a track, otherwise it will collide into the back of another one if you weren't too careful. So it's not looking so bad so far. And as you can see, the strategy elements in this game can get pretty difficult, pretty hectic, and as I say, the time limits as well can get pretty tight as well on the later levels. So 4 more trains to rescue on that. Let's have a look at the C level, C section, and this one opens with a technology, space-stroke technology level to make the game a little more diverse. And we'll just whiz through this level just to show you what it's all about. The action doesn't change, the format remains the same throughout. So let's have a look at the D stages. And the D stages open with a different desert scene and tracks all over the place. This really is a difficult level, look at that. Let's whisk a few trains along there at high speed. It is good that you can speed the game up, otherwise the game might have been rather dull without it. So let's skip on now to the E section and show you that one. And here we find a jungle level, which could be Mayan or Aztec. The head reminds me of Easter Island, to be honest, which is in the Pacific, so kind of mixed messages there. But yeah, another feeding digitally difficult track. At least on this section it gives you a couple of looping sections there, so you can turn the train around. Sometimes it's hard to turn trains around unless you get them in a platform to do that automatically by hitting the buffers. Ooh, very close there. The D1's gone in just in time there. So yes, this can be a pretty frustrating game. So I'm just going to play this level through a bit longer. So if I were to raise any criticisms about this game, maybe the level of difficulty is a little steep, particularly for the novice, and because there are 9 levels on each section, it can be tremendously difficult to get to the end of each section and gain the password. If the player dies on level 4 or 5, there really is no incentive to carry on playing the game, and as I said, the levels do become harder and harder as the game progresses. There are 108 pre-made tracks in this game, which is a tremendous amount, and the game also comes with a level editor, so the player can design their own tracks to the heart's content. There is no 2-player mode, no split screen that I'm aware of, which would have made this game tremendous fun in a head-to-head, but there isn't. So it really is a single-player experience. And onto the G level now, back to the usual scenario, the forest. So the game typically received high reviews from many reviewers, most notably Amiga Power, where Stuart Campbell awarded this game 84%, which is a decent score, very decent in fact, compared to the Amiga format review. One review gave it 19% in Amiga format. Perhaps that particular reviewer was expecting something much more than a strategy game, but to my mind, this game definitely deserves in the 80s. And this game was also available on a cover disc on Amiga Power issue 19, and that cover disc is where I first discovered this game. It took me a while to find the English version, and because the game was very popular in Germany, the most popular format for this game is the German version, so if you can track down the English version you are lucky. I think the version on the WHD download site is the English version. And before we go, let's have a look at this one. This is an ice level, pretty similar to the rest, but very much complex, very much difficult, as you can see. So in conclusion then, the sound effects are barely enough for this game, the music is well done, and the graphics are pretty average. But playability wise, I think there is some elements of playability which really shines through on this game and rewards the player. As I said, sometimes if the player doesn't progress far enough to gain the password to the next section, they can spend all the time on the A stage and not get any further, which is a letdown to this game, considering the other scenarios and scenery types further on down the road, which the average player never actually gets to see. The strategy element is rather formulaic, but the level designs are designed trickily enough to tax even the most dedicated player, and as I say, the 108 levels really mean a tremendous scope for future play should the player really get into this game and get the most out of it. So I definitely would recommend this game to all you strategy fans out there, all the ones that are bored with playing Lemmings. And I find this game, even though it's simplistic, I find this game quite addictive in its own little way. And as I say, anybody who's interested in this genre would also might like to check out Mad Lokes as well, also by the same publishers, released the following year. So that just about brings me to the end of this short review of this little known classic. Thanks everybody for tuning in yet again and playing this game with me. Just crash again, and hope to see you again in another mad crazy playthrough guide review again at some point in the future. So thank you for playing Locomotion. Cheers.